So I want to make a quick video because for the first time, um, I was publicly challenged on something that I said, and the person didn't. Well, I mean, uh, they, first they said I was wrong, and then when I corrected them on that, then they said, "Well, you were right, but since then it's changed, and it's not like that anymore." And um, but I didn't have definitive proof of what well, first of all, what I said was correct, right? But well, let me just say. So, yeah. So he made this post on Gibbs' page, uh, reelect or elect Gibbs for jailer page. He made this post here. So, and then when they made the post, someone made a comment about inmates having a right to religious materials, which I don't even think was addressed in the post. Somebody just brought it up. And then someone else asked them about it. And my comment was, it was about a Bible. And the accusation was that Brandon Finch threw away this guy's Bible. He took the guy's Bible in jail and threw it in the garbage can and said, "You won't need this anymore." So, so what I said was, the Bible thing may be in reference to an accusation that was made in a currently active civil rights against Meade County and employees of the detention center. The claim is that the deputy jailer took an inmate away from him and blah, blah, blah. So I didn't state it as fact. I just said that what it was. It was an accusation that was made, and it was a claim that was made. I didn't say it was true. I didn't say anything like that, right? So this guy named Chris Johnson comes in, and he's claims to be a deputy jailer, and then he's been there since for 4 years or whatever. And he and I go back and forth about it. Like, he's saying that what I'm saying is not true, and then come turn to find out he's looking at the wrong case. There's only one active case. He's looking at some old case, and so we kind of get that straightened out. And then he comes up and says that, well, yeah, that claim was dismissed, and he's right. It was dismissed. It was dismissed. It was the initial complaint, and it was dismissed because that was one of the initial complaints. That particular one was dismissed because there wasn't enough information. Well, there was an amended complaint, which he didn't get to that in the docket. When he was looking through the docket, and he gave them more information. The guy did, and that claim was reinstated. Right. So religion is like a big deal in this election. It seems to be. It's a real hotbed issue. Like, you're taking people's religious materials away and throwing them in the garbage. That kind of incites some people. They don't like that very much. So they fought back. I mean, there's evidence on both sides, and I'm not going to get into the evidence and go down that rabbit hole because that doesn't apply to this situation. So, but it is an important issue. So Scarborough even made a video recently showing off the tablets and how inmates could access religious materials over the tablet. So yeah, it's a big deal. Even though the statement that I made wasn't false and it was wrong, the question of whether it was still current or not was a question that I had, that I knew that I didn't have definitive proof that it was still an active issue. Right. I mean, I felt like it was. I thought it was. I mean, I'd read through a lot of the stuff, and I'm like, yeah, it still is, because they keep talking about it through the whole thing. But I couldn't offer, the guy said, look, no, it was reinstated. It is active. I mean, it was good for me. I was curious. Is it really still active? Is it done? So what I did is I found it in the at the very end. See, the case is now at a point where all these accusations that were made against Finch, who was the deputy jailer, Rebecca, who was the office clerk, who is now the deputy jailer, Amber Brown, and Meade County, right? JJ's not involved. He got kicked out of the case because apparently if you are the boss, you're not really responsible for what your employees do unless somehow it's got your fingerprint on it. And so you get taken out, and the county gets sued. So the county can get sued for not training the employees to do the right thing. But the actual boss, the guy that's elected to run it, the guy who's supposedly responsible for the detention center, has no responsibility for what they do unless it's him in particular, which is kind of weird to me, but apparently that's the law. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, so whatever. Anyway. Excuse me. So where I found the proof was, I found the proof in, so at the very end now, so both sides have motioned for summary judgment in their favor. They've dumped all of their discovery and everything out. And so you can get it on Pacer. Just look down at the end, like now, the most current stuff, motions for summary judgment, and like a whole bunch of exhibits and all that stuff. You can download that stuff and look at it. If you want to try to figure out whether you believe the guy or don't believe the guy, whether the judge will rule it in his favor, whether how the judge will interpret the evidence according to federal laws and stuff, I have no clue and have no opinion about it whatsoever. My point is it still an active complaint? So, because the docket is complex, man, that thing's been, it's years worth of a fight, man. It's been going back and forth, and like amended complaints and, you know, different orders where part of the amended complaint is accepted and part of it's not, and, you know, like interlocutory appeals for judge decisions that the judges made, and just all sorts of stuff. Like it's like a rat nest, you know? So finding this definitive proof was like finding like a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, as far as I was concerned on this particular argument, because it actually states, and the evidence is on if you look down at the end of the docket, at the end, right toward the end, there'll be a motion for summary judgment by defendants, or defendants motion for summary judgment. I'm gonna put a link to that document, as well as a link to the Facebook thread, my little back and forth with the jailer, deputy jailer there, with a deputy jailer, and then I'll make a link to this document, which I've uploaded to Google Drive, which not only you can see, these are the open at the time of the motion for summary judgment. These are the open issues being considered by the judge for Brandon Finch, and like right here in the middle, you know, defendant Finch confiscated and threw away patient's softcover Bible, blah blah blah. So yeah, it's still an active issue. It was dismissed on the initial complaint, but it was reinstated on it when the complaint was amended. It's pretty clear. And this is timely. This is like the last thing that was really submitted, right? So you can download the two things I would look at, or I would, if you're interested in this, is kind of stupid, but if you look at the Facebook thread, and I'll put a link to this both in the description. And so I had a challenge, and I proved that what I was saying was incorrect, or that it was no longer timely, or I was, I don't know, making shit up, or I was just wrong, or whatever. You know, if I was wrong, if I couldn't find evidence of it, I may make a statement. If I put anything about it on my YouTube channel, I would definitely do a retraction or a clarification. But I don't think I did. But I'll go back and look, and if you know, but I don't need to, because I think this is proven true. Anyway, yeah, this was fun. All right. See y'all later.